Okay, so talking a little bit about WSForm. WSForm is an extension that we created, and besides of creating forms on a web page, it can do some various other tasks, like creating pages or editing pages. Actually, perhaps it's I'll have a look at the documentation here. So creating a simple form. Oh, there's no example here, so that's a shame. Oh, let's go to the, just jump to the demos. It's easier. So the extension WSForm, it was written because we wanted to have forms on any area on the page, or even have multiple forms on the page. And of course, we have page forms, but you have to create a page, and then you call upon that, or you have to create a form within page forms, and then you call upon that form. But we wanted to have the freedom of creating forms anywhere we want to. Um, so the idea became that if anybody is familiar with HTML forms, the idea was to have an extension that basically works exactly the same. So in a source code of a page, you just kind of type a normal HTML form elements, and it will create a form for you. So I'll have a look. I set up two demos for file uploading and mail because we already gave some demonstrations on the last SMWCon as well on how to work with WSForm. So I'll dive a little bit into some of the features, some of the more advanced features that we have. Let me have a look at Zoom. Okay, I can't bring that up. Um, the easiest way to add a file upload. Okay, so this is a normal button like you have on on a normal form, an HTML5 form, where you say, okay, I want to have an input of a type of field. Now, if I go too quickly and somebody wants me to explain something else, what I'm showing, just let me know. Just you can open your mic and just let me know, because I think that works easier. So if I go here, what would be a good thing? I think that one would be a good example. So you have forms, form elements, input types, all those kind of things. Well, and here's an example of a simple HTML5 form, which shows a label, an input field, another label, and another input field, and you get this kind of form. I'm just showing you this because then it would make sense when I open up the source code for the other page, for this page. So I press edit, just make some room here. So I don't have much here. WSForm is a parser function, so this invokes the parser function. What do we want to do? Well, we want to add something to the wiki. This is WSForm specific. We're using this because we're uploading a file, and then we get an element, a WS field element with a type of file, the name of the element, what should be the name of the file, or the page to create, the file page. So this will be file WSForm upload test file, the content of the page file, which is pretty simple here as well, and then a button to submit this form. So I'll just save these changes. Let me just quickly grab an image. This is a typical feature of WSForm, so it gives you a preview. If there would be a text file, it would just say this and no image preview. And if I upload this, you don't see anything right now. You can, and I'll show you in a second. But if I would go to admins, admin links, special pages, and I go to recent changes, there's an upload log. And there you have it, file WSForm upload. So here it is. And this is the content. So if I press edit, that was the content that was inside that input field. Now, if I would take this a little bit further, so in basic, what I'm going to show you now, so this example, what you see here, this is exactly the same in the next page I'm going to show you, but we dressed it up with a little bit of CSS, and Lieselot was kind enough for me to put a semantic query in there as well, so that you can add that semantic query inside the content page of the file. So let's have a look at the more dressed up version. Okay. Let me first dive underneath the hood here. This is Lieselot right here, basically defining the content for the page. And what I've done here is, this is bootstrap styling. That's just for getting the styling on everything. Perhaps it's easier if I would open a second tab and show you the page here. So this is exactly the same, and I'll open up another one, demo, and this one. So now it looks like this, but here it looks a little bit different. And that's just a simple class that I've added, and it's also a bootstrap class. So if I add that, it all of a sudden looks like this. So it looks kind of more modern. And what I also do here, I'll make some room so you can actually see what I'm doing with the WS field type of file. What I'm also saying is, I want to parse the content, meaning this part. I'm forcing the image uploaded to be a PNG. Whatever it is, it's going to be a PNG. Type as a file. This is the basic name, but I think it's been overwritten by the template that will be behind it. Or this is the name, I should say. This is going to be the name. So WSForm upload test file, and then a parser function that shows the current time. And the page content is that variable that Lieselot created here. And what I also do, I say what the error ID should be of a div and the verbose ID of a div. Now, if I look here, this is the verbose ID basically. So here's where the information comes in the preview of the thumbnails. Now, if you don't do anything, it will create this div where it puts the information. But if you force it with this element, you're telling actually this element, I want to have the information in a div with an ID of file info. And if I scroll down a little bit further, you see here file information, I put a shadow around it. And then here you have, with the ID file info, this div, meaning that any verbose information will go in this div and nowhere else. So you can actually have an upload button on the left top, and the information of the file that you're going to upload on the bottom right, if you want to. It all has to do with styling and being able to create a website that looks exactly how you want it to look, and not you being forced by the way an extension or the way MediaWiki standard works. You want to have all the freedom. That's why this is done. And that's it. So basically, this is what causes the file to be able to be uploaded. So as I said, this was Lieselot creating the content. Now, what else do we have? All right, and down here, I'll show you just in a second. And there should be there down here. Lieselot shows all the files that have been uploaded using this form on this page. So let's give an example of that. So I'll just choose the same image, and as you can see, it's a JPEG. Open, and let's give this a short description. And I'll just actually, you see it across here, so you can actually delete it and upload something else if you want. So I'm just going to say upload. And as you can see, it created the file page with the description. It uploaded the image. So let me just go to that file page. Look at what's inside. So the first thing I noticed is that type is PNG because I told it to force it to be a PNG. Description, what an awesome photo. Uploaded from page file test. That was the page we were on. So let's have a look under the hood. So it uploaded the file and put this template inside where you got the information, and the description is in there as well. So basically what that means is that you can have a simple, although it is dressed up with styling, etc. That's why it has some more information inside the source code. But with a few parameters, you can actually have dynamic content inside the page content for the file you're uploading, including a field from a form that's on there. That's the description. So here I have the WS label, which is the same as a form label. And then there's a field type of text. Name is description. And this name description is added here, meaning that it will be put in there and inside the source page of the file, if that makes sense. And again, if anybody has questions, just let me know. Now you could dress this up even a little bit further, just to give you an idea on how we created like simple gov and all those kind of things. If I put something here in comments, and the reason I did that because this has an extra field here. See, there's a label. Hang on, there's an extra label. Here it is, which says click here to pick a file. So I'll just copy that and I'll put that in front of this one. Now, if I save this, you get that label here. Now it looks like a button. The reason for that, and I'll show you that, is because it has a class of button info. So if I would take this away just quickly, just so that it makes sense, you just get like a label, same as here. But I put that class in front of it for a reason, because if I go down here, there's an extra option in the WS field type is file, which is called use label. And I'm going to look, where is my file here? So I just put it anywhere there, use label. And if I now press save, you'll notice that the upload button and everything is gone. It's been hidden. And instead, the label is now your button. So you can have like, click here to pick a file, and then you click on it, and nothing happens. I think that has to do with the reason I changed the label for what is the, I think it's test. There you go. So if I take another picture here, upload, it basically works the same as if it was a normal upload button, but it looks way more modern, and you can have this one inside, like for instance, in a frame like this, you can have it on the bottom right corner. You click on it and you see a preview, and if you then click on upload, quick description, testing. See, now it's added here, down here as well. So with WSForm, because it's a parser function that allows for you to have classes and all these extra, which are documented pretty well. So parse the content if you want to have content out of the, or actually any content that just needs to be parsed, because it's, you're calling, you're doing an ask, or you're doing anything else you want to include a template or all those kind of things. You use parse content, use label if you want to get rid of the normal file upload button, force, where you can just say, okay, I always want this to be a PNG or a JPEG or whatever. Well, IDs, that's just JavaScript based. Type as a file, and then it's all really, it's not that difficult. And once you get the feeling of this and you see what the freedom gives you, you can create really amazing pages and applications and websites. And that's basically one of the biggest reasons why we built WSForm. All right, if anybody has questions about uploading, let me know. Otherwise, I'll go on through to sending mails. And because I can't see.
I do have a question. What is the protect part?
Sorry?
What's the protect option sitting there?
Sorry, there was a protect option.
Yeah.
No,
it was on the little menu selection you were just on a second ago.
Here?
Yeah, right above that. See the lock on the left. Yeah.
Oh, this? I got no clue.
Oh, okay, good.
Lieselot, do you know what that means?
No, we don't actually use this very often, so I'm not sure about it.
Okay.
Okay.
I actually have got no clue.
That's the standard page protection.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I should say I love developing extensions and doing all these kind of things, but I'm not really familiar with like things like this.
Yeah.
And that's why Lieselot is here, because she knows everything about templates and semantic media querying and all those kind of things. And I don't. I just don't. Yeah.
I would have a question.
Sure.
How do you have a mechanism how to point red links to a file, to your upload version, to your upload form? Because I managed to have an upload form with page forms.
Mm-hmm.
It actually works quite well, but my problem is that if you have a red link to a file, to something in the file namespace, it will always point you to the MediaWiki upload.
Lieselot, can you answer that?
We don't have this, but you could create like a template that you use to link to file pages, and then in the template you could check if the file page exists and then show an upload form if it doesn't. But like, you would have to manually create a template for that. It's not standard available in WSForm.
Ah, okay, so that's what it meant. I didn't really know what it meant. I don't know what it means if there's a red text line.
You could just try it out if you put any link to some file.
Oh, and it doesn't exist.
That doesn't exist.
Okay.
And you click on this.
Yeah.
Then it will show you the regular MediaWiki upload dialog, and you're not in your upload form, of course.
Ah, okay.
So
now, basically, the thing with WSForm is that you have all the freedom to do so many things, and one of the reasons is that we don't have those kind of features, because they would also be because WSForm should be a complete separate extension. So if you want to have those features, then we do what Lieselot just said. We would create a template doing it for us, but I would like to have that inside WSForm. I want WSForm just to be able to create all the forms you want in any way, editing pages, sending emails, all those kind of things, but not to be like woven into things like that. Like, okay, the file doesn't exist, so WSForm is gonna tell you now what to do. That's not what WSForm is. So if you want to have that feature, you have to do something like what Lieselot said. Of course, if like 100 people ask for it, we might consider putting it in, but that's another question. Anybody else has a question about file uploads? Nope. Okay, then I'll go on with sending emails. Okay, again, we have a simple form here where you can enter your name, your email address, and a message. Basically, this is a kind of a contact form for a page. I don't know if I have. Let me just go back to the documentation. Let's say email no job. I think is there an example here? No, but I have an example here, contact form. Basically the same thing, what I'm going to show you in the content of that page is right here, except this page explains how it all works. So let's dive into this. And as you can see, this looks a bit simpler because I haven't done much on styling and all those other kind of things. So starting WSForm again, and we say that the action is mail. And then we want to have it shown a message on success. Basically, we could have done that with the file upload as well. If we would have added that and somebody would have uploaded the file, you will get a message, thank you for uploading, all those kind of things. So you can have like an interaction with the person who did that. So in this case, it's going to say, well done. Now I start to, the WS email has like a lot of functions. So this is not an HTML5 element. This is something that's been written for WSForm to be able to send mails. You could have put here, and let me see if I still have this open. I do. So let's go back one. You could have some, oh, here it is. This is a good example. You could say, okay, I want to send an email to, from carbon copy. What will be the subject? A footer page, and I'll explain that a little bit later on. A header page, and you can even attach a file if you want to. And that's it. That's the only thing you need, and it will send a mail from to me, from me, and this means that you can have a name together with an email address, so that it shows up nicely in the inbox, and that will send it out. The small problem with that is that if you would inspect this, you would go inspect the element, and you would see the element. You would actually see where the mail is going and to whom it's going and which is the carbon copy and the subject. And if you want to do bad things, so if this would not be a closed wiki, you could say, okay, no, this is from Odd, and then send it off. So yes, we can do it this way, but I want to show you another way, which makes sense if it's an open wiki. And we do that by saying that the template for this mail is the mail test body. Here are the elements for the rest of the form. So there's a label for the name, and here's the input field for the name. I said that it should be required. This is another bootstrap class, just to make sure that it looks a pretty nice placeholder. And this is all default HTML elements. So then the email, and the type is email as well. So we got to type text here, and we got to type email. Same with HTML5 forms. And the text area for the where you can type your text, and then a submit. And of course, there's another class here just to make the button look different. And this is the value, basically. That's the text that will be inside the bottom, and that's it. So we start the WSForm and then the email. That's it. So save, and it looks like this. As I mentioned, let me go here. I'm back here. So we say mail test body. This is the template to use. So let's go to that mail test body of the email. So this is a normal wiki page. As you can see up here, it doesn't have to be template. It doesn't have to be anything. This could be anywhere and any page. Now let's dive under the hood. Okay, so this is WSForm specific. It starts with a % sign and then WS2, and there you have all the fields that are shown you in the previous one, except now it's in here. So to, from, subject, then header and footer. And basically this is the content of the email that will be sent. So it will have a header of form submit, dear admin. Name, this comes out of the form that is shown here. See, we have a field of text with the name. We got one with email, and we got one with content. And you can see them all here, name, email content. And just for the fun of it, we added like a parser function to show the current time. So you can see that you can do actual queries here. So you can get data from the wiki and put it inside the mail, like an update for something, or well, whatever you want to have it. Then we got the mail header and the footer. So let's have a look at that as well. Demo. Mail header. That's just a page with nothing in there except for a widget showing an image. The reason it's done through a widget, because it needs to be HTML that's outputted, otherwise email can't handle it. Not the WSForm extension, but just email, plain email. And then the other one is the footer. And you don't have to, I mean, you don't have to create a footer, and you don't have to create a header, but if you want to, you can. And a header is just simple, a new line or a horizontal line, and then Wikibase Solutions aligned in the center. So that defines the whole thing. So you got the email body, and in that email body, we start with telling where it should go, and you can have multiple email addresses there, from and the subject, the header, the footer, the pages, then the content itself. And if you would go and say, okay, hi, my name is Lieselot, and my email is Lieselot. Not much to say. And then we got the bottom, the button here. It should be a bit different because there's a lot of text, but actually this is just a send button. So I just send it. And it's got that success message I just talked about. And I got a message in the background. Let me see, where's my, let me open that up. And I'll drag it in. So this is what I get. So from info at Wikibase, Lieselot has sent you a message using the contact form on our wiki, then the details, and I put that details inside the table. As you can see, the table is here as well. And then the parser function that shows the current date and time. And it actually looks pretty nice because it's an HTML email. And you can imagine you can do a lot of neat things with that. You can actually send newsletters if you want, and they can look really slick. Last thing I want to say about it, and of course, because it's WSForm, you could put this like in a right corner where you can have some small fields and just press a button like OK, and it sends out an email. Now, if I go back to the documentation, there's also something that is called jobs. Now, a job is a bit different. Basically, a job, you will render a form, a WS form, and you will have only one email there, WS email field, and telling you its job and the name of the job, as you can see here. So action is mail. The job is, in this case, another page in the wiki and a submit button. So you just have a button where you can click. That WS mail job example, it could be like this. You could actually, I don't know if you know that already, but you can just copy and paste a JSON file inside the content of any wiki page. But of course, you can have a certain template that creates this JSON file. And this JSON file, basically, it tells every email where it should go, from whom it is, the subject, if there should be carbon copy, blind carbon copies, what body template it should use, what header template. So basically you can have like, how many are these? 3 mails. You could send out 3 mails that all look different and all have different content inside. The variable keys and the variable values, those are the ones that are inside the template. And so basically the template has that name, what I just had, I had name, email and content. So you would say here name, email, content, and here you put in the values what should be filled in for that email. So it will be replaced. But this job The reason it's created is because if you have a template that would create this JSON, you could have hundreds of emails, and WSForm will just send them out in batches. So yeah, you could actually have a mailing manager there. If you have a mailing list with a lot of people on it, just write one template that will always create a JSON like this, always up to date, and then use that to have WSForm send it out. Now this is pretty advanced, but I just wanted to show you that it is possible. So I guess for sending emails, that is, well, I think that's it for me on sending emails. So if there's any questions, let me know.
Is job an abstraction that's more general than that, or is that just
Sorry, is job?
Is job, J-O-B, an
Yeah.
abstraction that you're thinking about, or is that just a symbol?
No, actually, we call it job because it can create an email job for WSForm itself, so that it can create batches of emails to send out. That's why we call it a job. So
let me give you an instance of what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
See how this gets handled. So I send an email to you. Okay.
Mhm.
I need you to respond within 24 hours. Okay.
Okay.
And you don't.
Yeah.
And I want to send another email because you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the reason I was asking whether the job was an abstraction.
Ah, okay. No, okay. No, this is not by default built in, but we do kind of use that feature. We have another extension that can actually read emails. So basically, we could check if the inbox has a response from the mail you've sent using this tool, and if it's not, we could send out another email. So it will be automated. It could be, but it's not like it's default in here where you can say, okay, there's a time, and then if we didn't receive anything, send it out again.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Sounds great. I was just curious.
Okay, but we do have that feature, but it's just not like a complete feature built into WSForm.
Sure.
Again, because yeah, sorry.
I'm sorry. Can I just add something? Yeah, if this is not about sending emails out, but managing information inside the wiki, there's the extension semantic tasks, and you could use that. For example, you could say, I have a page, and I have the property assign to a certain user. Then the page gets assigned to the user in the system. The system sends an email to this user, and you can be informed after a certain period of time if the user has done anything. So there's this. I will paste it in the chat. It does something different, but for your use case, you might be able to use that for what's called semantic tasks.
Thanks.
And I have a question from the YouTube channel, if you're ready.
Sure.
What happens when you upload a file that cannot be converted to the type you gave in force?
You get I've shown you the thank you or the well done message that I show you as soon as I send a mail. Basically, you get like a message there if something goes wrong. That's the so if it can't be converted, you'll get a message there. If for some reason the file could not be uploaded, you'll get a pop-up saying, okay, I can't upload this, and a reason there. And if it's a technical reason, it tells you to contact the administrator. And I didn't really tell you this yet, but WSForm also has an option which is called, let me have a look at the manual. If I go to, let me do an overview. This looks a bit silly, but because this was the first documentation I created, but I still like it because I get everything on one place. There is a there is a, I think it should be in here. I'm not sure though. Well, let me put it this way. And as you can see, I press a button, the page reloads, and everything is done. We do have the option to say, okay, I don't want this. I want this to be Ajax. So it will do everything in the background through JavaScript. You will stay on the page, and you would just get a success message saying, okay, this is uploaded. Or if it's a failure, it'll pop up and say, sorry, we couldn't do this. But you would stay on the page, and basically you can do virtually almost, except for jobs, I think, or perhaps jobs could even be done. I think I should have an example here as well, though. But basically, you could do anything what I just shown you, but then stay on the page. So you get like a more of an app feeling instead of a website feeling. So you can do that. I'm just looking at where I have that in the documentation. As you can see, there's way much more things you can do besides the things I've just shown you, but that goes really in depth. But you can add triggers to the form. So basically, if somebody presses a button, you can do a JavaScript trigger that could perhaps look at the fields if they're okay, or something else, or have it done after it's submitted to run some code to do something else. But I cannot see where. I should have that somewhere. Lieselot, do you know where that is? I think Lieselot fell asleep.
I was trying to talk. Can you hear me now?
Oh, no, yeah, I can now. Yeah.
Are you talking about the Ajax submit?
Mm-hmm. I thought it was
It's
in the.
in WS field somewhere at the bottom.
Oh, at the submit, I guess. Because you attach it to. Oh yeah, well, there you go. Submit with form with an AD. Oh, that's what a callback. It's not actually what I meant, but what I meant. But basically, this is a submit button. I've shown you a couple of times in the, and that. But now I tell it the identifier will be Ajax, meaning that it will be posted through JavaScript. And when the post is done, I want you to call this JavaScript function, and this function will get the whole form and every detail that was submitted, so you can act on that as well, do other stuff if you want to. But that's basically, so it's that easy. So if you leave this out, this part here, it'll be a normal form. Just press the submit key and the page will be reloaded and everything is done. But if you use this, it will be done in the background and you get a notification if it was successful, yes or no. So yeah, I just wanted to tell you that because perhaps you have that in mind, like, well, that would be awesome if you could stay on the page. We have that a lot, where we have a form where you need to fill in something, but like a small form on the right side, where you can create something that's not in a select box where you can choose from, for instance. So you have like a task you want to create, but the description of the task doesn't exist yet, or the kind of the how do you call that? The type of task. And so you just create quickly a new type, and you do that through Ajax, and then the new type is in the select box then, and you can choose it, and you can go on. You don't have to go to another page to add something so that you have it in this select box here to choose it from. You can do it on the same page. So that's kind of the reason why I told you that. Perhaps some questions still? Or anything else you want me to show?
I would have another question regarding sending emails.
Yeah.
So it sends emails in the way that the wiki is configured, I guess. So if you just regular, like every email that the wiki sends. Is that correct?
Basically, yes, but you have the freedom, although the code is written, but it doesn't, we don't use it yet because we do what you said. So it basically used the normal send mail function, but the code is already in WSForm to say because WSForm has a config file where you can do specific things if you want to, and there you could add your own SMTP details. So you could send it through your own email server if you want to.
Okay, I see.
And have it separate from the wiki.
Yeah, okay. And do I always have to specify the email address, or could I also say send this email to user Charlie? Because I know that user Charlie has an email address because he's a user in the wiki, without knowing his email address now.
You would have to create a template or something to gather that information, because that was what I was trying to tell you. WSForm is not going to be doing those kind of things, because we want to have the power of not doing it. Do you know what I mean? So if we would like to have indeed just type Charlie, then something else would have to look up who Charlie is. WSForm doesn't do that.
Okay, I see.
So in this case, and for this example, you have to type the email yourself. But you could have a small pop-up pops on the right side using WSForm and the Ajax submit, where you list all the users. You click on a user and it will be filled in the to field of the form. So that's what we do. You know what I mean by that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what we do if we would like to make life easier for the customer.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? All right then. Then I'm going to stop the share so I can see who's there. Okay. Because that's so weird.
Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do have a remark. I have been chatting with Bernard about the red link. Bernard asked if it would be possible to point a red link directly to a WSForm form. And Charlot said that should be done with some template, but what of course you would want to be happening is that somewhere you can put some setting that enables you to point a red link automatically to a form, and such a setting seems to exist. So we might be able to test that.
You want to do that now? Or what?
Well, if you still have some time and people find it interesting.
Okay. Well, I still have 10 minutes, so I don't know.
I put it in the additional settings, so perhaps I should have to wait a minute. I think I have to give the local settings a touch. So it should be there.
So what would you like me to do?
What I would like you to do, I'm looking at your, you don't, can you share the screen again?
Yeah.
Well, put some red link on the page. So for looking for a file. So.
Okay, so perhaps it's
somewhere on this page.
I'll put it on this one.
No, on this page. Now this is the upload. This is the upload. So this is not a good idea, I think. On this demo page.
Which page?
This one.
Oh, okay. All right. So what do I do? Because I got no clue.
A link to file.
Is that like this?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And then some name dot PNG. Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that. So then you get a red link. And then let's have a look. When you click on it, what happens?
Oh, I go here. Oh, you put it in there. Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah. Great. It's perfect.
And in the URL, you see the destination file. So there is a.
Oh, you could read that.
You can read that in the form and then do whatever you like.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, again, I think exactly. And I tried this with page forms, but page forms would not be able to read this destination file thing. So this is why it cannot be done with page forms currently.
Okay, well, that's...
Well, luckily, WSForm can read what's in
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. So I think Bernard's question is answered, and the answer is very simple.
See if I have. Do we have a get example on here? I don't think so. But basically, what you could do if you want to have a form that only creates links up here, so you can do something with the template in there. You can with WSForm, and it can also read what's up there. So let me get a quick. Where's that page that we just had? So here it tells us. All right. So what was the name of this? Was this description? I guess, wasn't it? The name of the field. So if I would say description is some name.png, you see, WSForm fills that in.
You have to. It's better to change the name of the field, because the URL you can't. The addition to the URL you can't change. That's.
Yeah. Okay. You can change the field name. Okay. I get that. That could be. So let's go back, and it's called W destination file. So let's go in here and say you want to send this off with the mail, but you don't want people to see that. So let's do that. Let me grab a quick. So we say WS field type is hidden. Name, oops, name, there we go again, is that name, and that's it. That's the only thing I need to do. So if I do that and I save, and I would have a look under the hood, then we should have a field that is called, did I put it, or did I put it somewhere inside something else?
It was hidden, Charlie. So.
Well, not that hidden. Not that hidden. Where did I? Let me put it on a spot where I can actually. Let me do it as the first one. Name is destination field. I'm not forgetting anything, am I? Lieselot, if I'm doing something wrong, you should tell me.
I'm not sure what you're trying to do at the moment.
Ah, okay. That hidden field. Destination file. All right. No, it doesn't fill it in. It should fill it in.
If you want the file to have that name, then the value from the URLs should be in the file upload thing.
Yeah, it's not in there. It's not up there. I mean, sorry. So do I still have that?
You can go to the demo page again and hit the link.
I'm clicking on the wrong one, am I not? Yeah, sorry. So let's have a look now. Here it is. So now you're sending this off together with the form as a hidden field with the value that's on top here in the URL. So yeah.
How can you use that? Yeah.
And then you can use that. If you could put that in the content of the file, for instance. So if I go here, it could be part of the.
No, it should be the file name, eh?
Yeah, of course. But now the file name is created through Lieselot's her thing she put in there. But yeah, it could be file name. Yes, it could be, no problem.
I'm not sure if you said, I see in the chat that Bernard has said that the magic is the WG upload missing file URL PHP configuration variable. WG upload missing file URL, I think, is in the chat. I don't know if you said that. I'm just sort of saying that out loud for people who are watching the video later.
Very good. Yeah. Yeah, that's the one. And so what I did is I put that one in the local settings with the URL straight to the
other page for the
form page. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, that makes sense.
So I'll ask the question I ask every time, because I've seen this demo, I think 3 times now, and I love it every time. So when is it going to be packaged and available for the rest of us? Because it is wonderful. It's great functionality.
Thank you. Well, yeah, it's
Yeah, Charlie, that's a good question.
well, if you'd give me some more time, I would. it would have been released. Now, actually, there's been after this last Semantic Media Wiki in Paris, I worked a couple of weeks on it. It's really far on being ready. One of the reasons it's not has to do with the fact that WSForm, the handling of all the forms that are submitted are outside of the wiki, meaning that you're not inside the wiki. And I heard a request that people wanted to have it inside the wiki. So also the handling of everything, and that's what I'm creating right now. But that meant a complete rewrite of that code. And at the same time, we also wanted to have it outside the wiki, because the reason why it's outside the wiki is if you have like a completely closed wiki, but you still want to submit a form, you should be able to. So you have a completely closed wiki except for one page that has a form, and you want everybody to be able to submit on that form, you can. That's one of the reasons why the handling of the forms is outside of the wiki. And now I need to build it inside, and that just takes a little bit of time.
No, you don't, Charlie.
Yeah, I do.
No, you don't, because I'm perfectly fine with what you say. That's even if in a closed wiki you might want to have a form that can be filled out.
Yeah, but it will be an option though. So then one of the reasons
that's
is
nice. That's nice for the next version. But to be honest, I've never seen you in Rotterdam. You told me that you want to have the documentation ready first.
Yeah.
I've never seen any extension in the MediaWiki environment that has such a great documentation. So you can just release it, and if some people say they want to have this and that feature, that's their problem for the one time. They can help you do that. But for 90% of the users, we will be very happy to have this and to be able to use it. So don't overthink this.
Well, thanks, and I'll have this discussion with Odd next week, I guess. I'll show you one of the reasons why people wanted to have it in the wiki. Let me have a look here. The upload log, it tells that WSForm has uploaded it, not me. That's one of the reasons.
You're not sharing your screen at the moment,
oh,
by the way.
Oops. Oh, Lieselot, you're so on to things. Really nice, thank you. So as you can see here, I'm in the recent changes, and the upload log, it says it's WSForm that did all the uploading, not me. And if I look a little bit deeper, let me have a look.
Yeah, if you make changes to pages, then it's not the user that has made a change, but it is the WSForm user. Within the comments, the name of the user that.
Yeah, I was just going to try to. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, while you are trying to find it, I can.
Yeah, it's not in there because nobody made an edit on this, because this is my. Basically, what we're working on here is my development website for WSForm. So nobody else basically works on it. So it's my own small domain.
I can remember we talked about this, and I agree. This is indeed a problem.
Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have it inside there, and that's what I'm working on right now. But if I want to have that feature, I need to do. I want to do that like nice, neatly, and everything should be documented. Every function should have been good documented and things like that. So yeah, that's the reason why
it doesn't work like that yet, Bernard. So we don't have a version of WSForm that does that already. So it's not only documentation.
No, true.
No.
But I'm far there. I'm getting there. I think all the normal email stuff, all the normal form stuff works. But I'm currently rewriting things for like emailing and uploading and all those kind of things. So yeah. Okay. Any further questions? All right then.
But Charlie, we can share. It's not on the MediaWiki website yet, but there are some people we have shared the code with, aren't there? So
That's true.
We can, yeah.
But I think Bernard was one of those people.
That's correct, but unfortunately, I didn't find time to really get it running yet. But I will. So I have access to it, yes. But
You're in our Discord as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you can always ask me a question there. So if you get something
Sure.
weird,
Yeah. Thank you.
that's also one of the reasons why this extension, if it should be working on any type of wiki with any type of configuration, it should work. And currently, we use WSForm always on our configuration. So for me, it's hard to test anything which is different than that. So I come across some weird things now and then when we install it on somebody else's wiki, because they have something there which is, well, different or something I didn't know of. So yeah, that means that I must make sure that it works everywhere. All right.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's extremely powerful. It's not that easy to use as, for example, page forms. And we do want people to have it. And so if you want to be in, let's say, in the same position as Bernard, to have the code and test it in your environment, we will be happy to share it.
Yes, I have a version there for you to try out.
That ad.
Hey.
Is that ad talking?
That's up, yes.
That was ad talking.
I just thought so.
All right then. So that would be it from me. And if you have any questions or want to talk about this further, just let me know. I'll be happy to do that on Skype, Discord, or anywhere you want me. No problem.